All right. Hello, hello, hello. It is a beautiful Sunday here in Belgium, and we are going live. I'm so excited for everyone that is tuning in. I'm going to give it a few minutes. If you are listening on the podcast, you will be in for a treat. I'm so excited to have this live and have the discussions with our special guest. Also, if you're just now joining, please let us know where you are tuning in from. I love to see who is in the States and who is also abroad. We have Sophia from Tennessee tuning in. Hello, Sophia. I hope you are having an amazing end of your weekend. We have Lisa Lewis, who is tuning in from Maryland. I hope the weather has been great in Maryland too. Right now, I am in Brussels, which is located in Belgium, and it is not as warm. It has been a little warm, a little sun, but I am missing the Lisbon weather for sure. I'm looking forward to getting back to Lisbon at the end of the month and starting to meet some of everyone who is coming to the Black in Portugal events. And Lisa said it's toasty here, 96 degrees. Wow. I wish I had that right now. Belgium in general, the weather is. All right. So let's get started. So, welcome to Unconventional Itinerary. My name is Heather Courtney. If this is your first time tuning in, I am the founder of Black in Portugal. I currently reside in Portugal. I've been here for almost 3 years. Previously, I lived in Japan and I also lived in Mexico. I am a mother to an amazing, almost 17-year-old, and we have been traveling the world, living abroad, and just embracing life, taking on new experiences, and just meeting some amazing people along the way. So without further ado, I am going to introduce VeShannah Lovelace and bring her to the stage. Hi, VeShannah. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good,
I
good.
am
I'm so excited to have you here.
great.
Good, good. So this is your first time on the interview, and
I'm excited to be here.
yes, yes, I think there might be a slight delay, but can you introduce yourself and just give us a brief overview of your journey, who you are, where you're at?
Well, hello, my name is VeShannah, aka the Bougie Nomad, and I am currently in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Um, I retired from the Army after 20 years in 2016, master's in international hospitality management and tourism. And then around November 2018, I went back to work. And I went back to work in 2020, kind of affected me the way it affected everyone else. I was stuck sitting still and could not travel, which made me realize how much I needed travel in my life. Um, and the nature of my work, as much as I love my job, the nature of the work changed. So in July of 2022, I decided that it was time for me to make a change.
Mhm.
And I quit my job, went back into retirement. And in November of 2022, I decided to become a full-time nomad.
Oh, wow. So from retirement to nomad, that's just like a huge jump. Most people that retire just like do some traveling, they just want to rest and relax. So I'm really curious what motivated you to sell everything and give up your lease and embrace the nomadic lifestyle. I think there might have been a delay. Were you able to hear me, Vashana?
Effective way to do it. And it was the most cost effective way to see the world. I realized I heard you.
Ah, okay. I think there's a delay and then it's a slight
I,
lag. Oh, okay.
I think there is a dramatic delay.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, thing was the most cost effective way to do it. Once I realized that I could stay in an Airbnb for 30 days for about the same as I was paying in rent at the time, it really just became a no brainer. So I decided that I would just live in a different country every month and I would just stay in Airbnbs and hotels.
Yes, I find that sometimes, Airbnbs are more affordable because you don't have to worry about the electricity, you don't have to worry about internet, you don't have to worry about any of those extra bills like you would if you had your own place. And those bills might fluctuate. Your electric bill might be $150 one month and the next month might be $400. So the amount of money that you're coming out of pocket just to upkeep your house can be super more expensive than it is just to rent an Airbnb, have less of a headache. You know that if something goes wrong, they have customer service and then you'll find another Airbnb. So no, wow. For those that have never thought about that way, that's an interesting way to think about how you can travel and save money by just doing Airbnbs. So, how did your initial experience of house sitting with your senior dog shape your approach of traveling?
Well, initially house sitting gave me the opportunity to continue to travel and to travel with her. But it
Mhm.
also gave me the opportunity to save money since I didn't have to pay for lodging. So basically, I only went where she could go. And I
Mhm.
drove up and down the East Coast, just doing house sits up and down the East Coast. And in between house sits, I would stay with friends and family.
Okay. Did you have any problems finding house sitting accommodations that would take dogs? Sometimes there's like animals or pets or anything like that.
I did initially. Well, actually, no, not really. So what I noticed was that I had my profile was set up where I had references. So I decided that Duchess also needed references. And
Mhm.
so I created references for her as well. So I had friends and people who had kept her before. I had them write references on her behalf. So a lot of the places that I went, they didn't have any issues. But like if I went somewhere and they had a cat, then the cat may or may not have issues. But or if I went somewhere where they had well, technically I never purposely requested to house fit for someone who had a bully breed dog.
Mhm.
But if someone had a dog who was not well socialized, they would turn me down for a whole lot of problems finding anybody that would let me, house sit with her in tow. And mainly because she was older.
Oh, wow, okay. So I never heard of doing a pet reference, at all. I would never have imagined that was even a thing, and so it's very interesting.
Well, like
Did
when
is that
people,
something you came Oh, I'm sorry. Keep going.
yeah, I came up with that be on their first dog or something like that. And so they might have been a little bit more apprehensive about Duchess's social behavior. So
Mhm.
anyone who had kept her or had her in their house with their pets or with their children, with their family, I just had them write references on her behalf.
Okay, wow. Definitely will keep that in mind. I haven't house sit it before, but, it is a consideration, and I do have a senior dog, so that's really awesome to know. So did you, what were some other challenges that you faced when you first started your nomadic journey, and how did you overcome them?
I would say one of my challenges was in between house sits. I would go and I would stay with friends. And I will have to say and give a huge shout out to my community of friends because they have been very supportive. I would feel guilty about staying at somebody's house for more than a certain amount of time. And so,
Mhm.
like, I would give myself a 2 week
Mhm.
because, you don't want to wear out your welcome anywhere. And
Exactly.
I had friends that were like, who told you you only had 2 weeks? Like, you're the one who gave
Mhm.
yourself that limit. You can as long as you want. And so I have to help you, then you need to let them.
Yeah. That is very, very, very true. Sometimes, it's our pride or we don't want to inconvenience anyone, but the help is usually there, especially with loved ones and friends as well. So, what were some practical tips for managing the logistics of constant travel, such as accommodations, transportation, and staying connected with others during your travels? Did you hear the question, Vashana? I can repeat it again. I'm not sure if you heard it or not. I had asked what
I
were
would
some.
say the biggest one is to have a financial, it's like I do have a monthly income and I do live within my monthly income, but I also have a financial buffer that I can fall back on because, like, say for instance, if you're booking Airbnbs, like say for instance, right now, I have booked Airbnbs this week. And when you book
Mhm.
it, the lag.
Yes. It's okay, but keep going. You were saying
Okay. I'm
you
guessing the
rented an
lag just,
Airbnb this week.
okay. All right. Okay, so yes, so I have November. And when you're booking Airbnbs, you have to basically at least pay
Mhm.
half up front. And because I need to know where I'm going to lay my head at all times, because I'm that chick. I need to know where I'm going to sleep
Mhm.
every night. And so I am booking months in advance, which means that I have to have that money months in advance to be able to pay financial buffer. I am also an obnoxious planner. So my schedule right now is already planned for September 2025, excuse me,
Oh,
2024 through September
wow. Okay.
2025. So yeah, so I always know where I'm going to be. And honestly, I can even tell you now where I want to be through 2029.
Wow, that's extraordinary. I know I'm not even planned that far. I'm only planned up until September, which is like 2 months away. So, wow, that's amazing. Is there any technique or strategy that you use to stay organized?
I use the notes on my
Mhm.
iPhone. There's like a notes page, excuse me, there's a notes page on my iPhone, and every single thought that comes into my head, every single idea that I get goes onto a notes page. And so I basically just keep track of everything and all my dates. So as I'm going through and I'm physically planning, I'm also putting that information into its own notes book with everything.
Wow, I feel like I use my notes section and it takes up a lot of my memory because I jot down things too and then like I forget about them. And then when I remember them, I don't remember exactly how I worded it. So then I just create a new note. And then that new note will have the similar information as what I had previously. But I think it's good definitely to write down things in the spur of the moment. Sometimes I get a little lazy and then I'm like, oh, I'll just remember it later. And then, like I don't remember it at all. So it seems that you are really organized, especially with staying on top of that.
Yes. And I also keep a separate folder in my email account where all my bookings go. And so I am very diligent about deleting used notes. Like if the note is no longer relevant, I'll delete it. If a booking in my separate email folder is no longer relevant, I delete it. Like I'm constantly going through making sure that everything that I have access to is relevant and current.
Wow. Yes, I kind of hoard stuff in my inbox. I still have emails from 99 and I don't delete anything. I think, I don't know if I'm ever going to need receipts or proof of something and I'm going to go back to my email and be like September 24th, 1999. That's how old my email address is. It's super old, AOL days and AIM to be exact. And yes, I'm not as organized, but I find it hard to delete things. I'm like, I remember I stayed at a hotel, but what hotel was that? Oh, I got the note because it's in my email box. I never deleted the confirmation email or anything like that. So good for you. Good for you. Wow. Lisa asks, do you stay in a location or a country longer than a month?
No, I make it a point to change countries every month, but I will typically do more than one city in a country around. And so I decided that this year I'm not doing that again. So with the exception of France in November, I am limiting myself to 2 cities per country per
Okay.
month, because all that moving around, it does add up. The longer you
Mm,
stay in one place, the less expensive it is when it comes to like booking lodging. So this year and also it does get tiring also. So yes. So it's a new country every month, but it might be 2 cities in that country.
yes, I do feel like when you book for longer, places are willing to give you a discount if you are staying for at least a month or 3 weeks or a certain amount of days, they will give you a discount sometimes. Versus if you're just staying for like 3 or 4 days, and then of course they're going to maximize how much they're going to charge you because they want the money. So yes, I totally understand that as far as staying longest that you can, but at the same time, make sure you're making moves that make sense that are going to save you money while you're, staying out the country for that period of time. So my next question I want to ask is, what advice would you give someone considering a nomadic lifestyle, especially those who might feel apprehensive about this big change?
Just remember that if you don't like it, you can always quit. So people like ask me
Hmm.
all the time how long I plan to live like this. And I'm like, until I get tired of it. Like, I don't have a time limit. It's like until I'm done. But I mean, start small and work your way up. Start in the US. Like I said, I started with house sits, and house sits are good because you get to experience different cities within the United States. And that was fun for me.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I was house sitting everywhere from Virginia down to Florida. And I got to experience different cities and what it would be like to live in those cities. And most of the time, I was in those cities for at least a week. I never stayed anywhere for less than a week. So, yeah, just start small and just stop and go back to living a regular life.
Mm-hmm. Just in a different city. Yes. So, how has constant travel and living as a nomad helped you rediscover yourself and define your life after retiring?
I remember now that I can do hard things. Um, Korea for me was very hard. I was
Mhm,
so apprehensive about going to because my superpower is knowledge. My
mhm,
superpower is experience. And I had no knowledge and no experience with Korea. So I was very apprehensive about going. I was lucky that I had, well, not like I was fortunate that I had a friend who was living in Seoul. And I had another friend who also travels similar to how I travel. And she decided that she would go to Korea during the same time period as me. So I
mhm,
called them both my crutches because when I first got there, what really mostly intimidated me about Korea was I don't recognize the Hangul alphabet. So not being able to
mhm.
even read the language or knowing how to navigate around not being able to read the language was the first thing that really kind of intimidated me. But
Mhm,
going and having them to lean on really helped out a lot. And so when I left them, because I was with them for 2 weeks, but when I left them and started traveling throughout the country, by the time I left them, I was ready. I was good. I was getting on buses. I was figuring stuff out. I learned how to use all my apps,
mhm.
effectively. And it was great. So yes, I remember now that I can do hard things.
Yeah, speaking of, Korea, South Korea, we were just having a conversation of when I was mentioning my daughter and I backpacked through Southeast Asia for the 90 days, and I really love Busan. We went to Seoul. Seoul was nice. I liked their little war memorial museum, but I love Busan. It's just something about Busan that I really, really like, and, we haven't been able to go back because COVID was a thing, and then we literally just came back from Japan, not too long ago, but if anyone does visit South Korea, I can relate about not being able to read the signs or being able to articulate what you're wanting to, speak because the language is very different and everything. But don't feel discouraged at all. Like you said, there's apps that are out there that are meant to help you, that help navigate you, even if you try to replicate some of the words, which may or may not be a funny thing, and you may or may not be saying the right thing because of the accent. But go ahead and take that leap. It's really important. The only thing I will say is I've noticed that outside of America, when my daughter has a nut allergy, so she's allergic to different nuts, and I've noticed even in Portugal that when you say nuts, they're not talking about like almonds. They're not throwing all that into the whole category of nuts, So if you do have like any type of allergy, be very specific because my daughter ended up eating um we had chicken and the chicken we thought was garlic on there and it was nuts and she had an allergic reaction. It was really scary in South Korea. And luckily everything worked out for her. Like she was good at everything, but just being more specific when it comes to any like a milk allergy or a certain egg or certain meat. That was just like my just tip of the day for you guys. Just be as specific as you can because in the US, nuts, we're like, oh, okay, we know tree nuts, almonds, um, All right, sorry about that. My internet dropped for some reason. But what I was saying was that just be specific when you are traveling and you do have allergies to food. Let's see, Vashana, it looks like her screen is still loading. I'm not sure why the internet just dropped like that out of nowhere. So I'm just going to wait for her to come back. Oh, there you are. Perfect. I was explaining my internet dropped for some reason, and just be specific with some of the apps. So speaking of apps, what apps do you recommend while you're traveling?
Okay. I have a couple in the Asian countries. Papago is really good.
Mm-hmm.
It will scan the words, and then it'll translate the words after it has scanned it for you. And I wanted to go back to what you were saying also about the allergies, because I can't eat eggs. And so what I would do is I would get someone who spoke English and spoke the local language, and I would
Mm-hmm.
get them to type into one of my apps, "I cannot eat eggs. So please make sure there are no eggs in my food." And then I would
Mm-hmm.
just do a screenshot of that translation. And
Yes.
whenever I ordered food in Korea and Japan
Just be
specifically,
like,
I would always show them that app, or I showed them that translation.
yes, yes, that's really important because
Yes,
sometimes things
yes,
don't
and they will
translate.
make sure,
But
because
yeah,
no one wants you to rely on their watch.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes things just don't translate from English to other languages as easy or as it is intended. So that's a really great tip. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, but yeah,
How
so Papago is a
someone
good.
mhm.
Sorry, I forget about the lag.
No, no, no.
Another one,
Papa Go is a good one.
and then some of the different navigation apps. So, oh my goodness, what is it? Uh, Cacao, was it Cacao Talk? Um, KAKAO apps, and they've got like their own set of navigation apps and their own set of like WhatsApp,
Mhm.
WeChat type apps. So yeah, so I cannot remember them because as soon as I didn't need them anymore, I deleted.
See, mine always get uploaded off and to the iCloud because I don't ever delete apps too. I'm really bad at deleting stuff. Just in case I need it or I need to tell someone about it, I'm just like, you know what? I still have the app on my phone. Let me yep, see, this is the app right here. Yes. Someone asked Yulinda asked, she asked, do you ever stay in a hostel?
Boo, I'm the bougie no army, so I lived in my share of hostile environments, living in barracks and open bays and shared spaces, and I'm almost 50. Yeah, I don't do that anymore. It is a good way to travel in a less expensive manner. But I'm the bougie nomad. I can't do.
You know, I never really thought about it that way about a hostel. I've never stayed in one. People talk about them all the time. And I'm thinking, I'm just like, listen, I lived in general pop birthing with over 300 women. I shared showers with women, and I don't want to share stuff with other people because I know people are not clean. Like, I need my privacy. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to worry about my stuff being touched. Someone stepped on my rack or stepped on my bed. My stuff go missing. You know, people. I had my boots stolen. The girl below my rack, she stole my boots, And then she tried to say they were hers. And the only reason why I just don't think this girl was really that smart, because I had a Hello Kitty. This was in Japan. I had Hello Kitty insoles in the inside. And I'm just like, really? I'm like, your boots aren't even my size. It's crazy. So no, I agree. I don't know if I would ever stay in a hostel. And Yolanda says she totally understands.
I will say this though, I do stay, or excuse me, I have stayed in shared spaces through Airbnb. So, like, say in Oslo, I slept in somebody's basement, and in Warsaw, I stayed in a villa that had like 3 rented rooms, and I just stayed in one room, and we all shared a bathroom. I've stayed in someone's apartment where it was just me and her in Edinburgh. Now, the one in Edinburgh was fun because it was another lady. She was a nurse, and me, her, and her neighbor would have wine downs every night,
Oh, okay.
and that was fun for me. But yeah, but I just because I don't know, it doesn't. I'm not going to say it feels weird, but like, say for instance, in Warsaw, I was sharing a bathroom with dudes, and uh, and they weren't.
We have a another question. Beverly James had asked, Happy Sunday. Oh, I'm sorry. She's saying she's from Brooklyn and sweltering here. I'll be in Portugal for the second time this summer, this time for a wedding and to find neighborhood that feels like Belfort Stuyvesant. I have no idea where Bedford's at. I actually grew up on Stuyvesant Ave in Jersey, so I know you're not wanting that type of that type of feel. But let's see. Someone else had a question. Lisa Lewis had asked, "Have you found a place where you eventually want to settle?"
No, no. I keep telling everybody I don't want to live anywhere.
Hmm.
I do want to get to a point where I am only going to 4 places per year. But I
Okay.
think I'm so far off that I don't even see that happening before 2030.
Hmm. Okay. What are I know you've been traveling. You said Edinburgh. You've been traveling in the U.S., of course, France, and other places in Europe. But what are some cultural differences that you have encountered while living in these different countries and regions every month?
Um, okay. I'm going to tell you the biggest one for me, because I travel with the CPAP machine. I have
Hmm.
not been able to easily locate distilled water in any country that I've been to. In
Mm.
America, you just go to else, like in Scandinavia and the Baltics, I had to go to the pharmacy to get it, and they only sold it in like the gas station to get it. In Latvia, they told me I needed a doctor's prescription to get it. So just not being able to get something as simple as distilled water, access to toilets, because not everybody is just going to let you use it. However, in Korea and Japan, they actually think you have a right to pee.
Hmm.
Um,
Yes, that is another thing that. Oh, I'm sorry.
cleanliness,
Hmm.
cleanliness. Certain places, they actually honor cleanliness in a way that other places don't. Shout out to Japan and Korea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And crime. Let me tell you about this.
I think that VeShannah's screen is frozen. I know that she was talking about the cleanliness in Japan and Korea, and she was talking about the oh, there you are.
Yeah. I was talking about crime and the lack
Mhm.
thereof. So, like in Busan, there was money. I was walking down the beach and there was money just lying on the strip. And I watched as everybody walked past, looked at that money, and kept on going because they knew it didn't
Mm,
belong to them. And when someone finally did pick it up, she only picked it up because the wind caught it and it started flying everywhere. So now we're just trying to prevent litter. And
mhm.
that was why she picked it up. And that was just amazing to me because there is no way in the world in America you're going to see that. You're going to see money just lying.
Yes, because someone would have put their foot out, put their foot over that money and slid it back to them. That's I feel like that's very American, and like I feel like all of us have found a quarter, a dollar, something on the floor. Even I feel like my mindset has changed about that. Two situations. I was on the airplane flying back. I think we were flying from Japan, or maybe I was flying from Belgium back to Lisbon, and I was sat in my seat. I was in the window seat. Always got to have a window seat. And I get there first, and no one else is sitting there. And then a guy comes, and I'm telling my daughter, I think my daughter was with me. And I'm just like, there's 20 euros in the seat. That's how I know the airlines will be cleaning the airplanes. And I was just like, technically, I guess it's his money now because he sat in that seat and it's like in between like the buckle and everything. So I tapped him and I was just like, hey, is this your money? I know it wasn't his money, but I was like, this your money? And he looked confused and he was just like, yeah, it is my money, and put it in his little pocket. Um, and I'm like, and that's okay. That's okay. But we were just in Japan and someone had lost their headphones. They not their headphones, their AirPods. And the AirPods, it was like by this overpass, like this walking overpass. And the headphones, they just sat there. We walked past, we went to dinner. I looked, I was just like, okay, they got the little headphones, they got a little keychain or something. Left, went to dinner, came back, still sitting there. Still sitting there. So many people have walked past there in Yokohama. And I feel like I think people have morals, better morals than Americans do sometimes. And sometimes they're was not yours is not yours. Is what I'm trying to say. In America, it's just like, oh, another man's said they lost this. I guess it's mine now. So I do agree, like it is different. Like people will like see money, see things of value that they're not going to just, take it because that person might come back, it's not theirs, and maybe like bad karma might also have to do with it. So that's really I'm glad you were able to share that because some people if you don't travel, you don't know like these are like the norms in many countries. That if it's not yours, nothing to do with you, just keep walking by. And also, I kind of feel like it might be a setup too, because I'm just like, somebody's watching and they're gonna wait for you to pick up that
Yep.
50 euros or 100 yen or whatever. And they're gonna be like, so now you're stealing. Now you're taking the property that's not yours. So just keep that in mind. The stuff that we do in the US that is normalized is not normalized in other countries abroad. Last time he gone. So, I know I said a lot right now, but we talked about you were house sitting, you retired, house sitting, you shared some insight on things that you have done to make house sitting and
Right.
traveling nomadic life um very more simpler for you and makes it more organized and makes sense to you. So now we're going to talk about packing for these travels because some
Mm-hmm.
people don't know how to pack right. They pack for the weekend and
Yes.
they
In
have
Poland, I went to a museum and I went for lunch in the museum. And while I was having
Mhm.
lunch,
No, keep going about Poland. It's fine.
oh, okay. So yeah, so I was at a museum and I stopped for and I stopped in the middle of the museum so that I could eat lunch. I had forgot to pay. And the
Mm.
next time the waiter saw me, he was like, "Would you like to pay now?" And I looked, "That's fine, you pay now." And so I
Yeah.
paid. Now, granted, embarrassed, but he was just like, I mean, it's not that big a deal. You just pay now.
Mhm. No, that's really in the US, they probably would have tracked you down, ran after you and everything. And the culture in other countries is just like it's almost a culture shock. Like, wow, we're really living like this in the US. We're living like so savagely. And, people in the other countries are just like a soft life, a life of, taking it easy and enjoying their day to day activities. Yes. So I wanted to go into
Yeah.
your packing for travel and what are some of your top tips for packing efficiently for long term travel?
Yes.
So what are some of your top tips for packing efficiently
Okay.
for
Packing for me, I
Okay.
am a
There it
notorious
is.
overpacker. Like the fact that I am, in a situation right now where I'm getting door to door service and I have people helping me with my luggage. I have severely overpacked for this little 1 month jaunt around. To not do that. And so it started off, I just kept buying luggage.
Mhm.
Yeah. It started off that I just kept buying luggage and then kept realizing this is not going to work. So I was so resistant to this. Packing cubes. Packing
Mhm.
cubes are for the win every time because like when I'm going into
Listen.
places and the space is too small and they don't have proper storage. um when I first went out, I did not pack properly. I
Back
packed jeans and I packed sweaters. And jeans are too heavy. They do not fold flat enough for you.
Yeah.
Sweaters are too bulky.
Yes.
So I think I left it in December. No, 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 not December. I'm sorry. In February. In February, the thighs had worn out of all of my jeans.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Buy buns, and I had to buy new pants,
Mhm.
which gave me the opportunity to buy more appropriate pants that would be lighter in weight. March, I got rid of all those bulky sweaters, and and then my coat was perfect because my coat was a Columbia interchange jacket, so it was basically three coats in one, and I
Yeah.
could wear the two coats together together, and it was this big heavy coat that took me through the snow. Or I could wear the insert, which was like, it's cold, it's like a rain coat, and it was light enough that you could wear it when you just needed a jacket. So yes, and buying versatile clothing. If I buy, I limit myself on what I can buy. I can't buy any. If I buy a scarf, well, now I got to get rid of it. So, and then no toiletries. Like the only toiletries that I pack, like I'll pack, have something to use for the first couple of days, but they're only the 3-ounce sizes. The only thing that I'm really a stickler for is I gotta have my hair products. But even when I ran out of hair products, I ran out of hair. I until May to run. I could just go buy Cantu products because I don't know what kind of a lock they got around the world, but I don't care where you go, you can find Cantu.
Yeah, Cantu is everywhere.
Too.
No, but that's good. I think one thing that you said, it makes me remember being living in Japan. I lived on the ship, and when we would deploy, I would ask the junior sailors, I'm like, why do you guys always dress so nice? Like you guys always, it just seems like you guys have something different, And they told me they have like 2 or 3 sets of leggings, and they have different like shirts that are solid colors, and they have a bunch of scarves. And that's what they said. They wrap scarves around their necks, or they might wrap it around their waist, or do something with it where it's like basically the same outfit, but you're just styling it differently. And they said that's how they're able to save room and everything, because you don't have a lot of room on the ship at all. And I never thought about that. And even here, some of the women, they said they dress for, it's called like a certain style where your wardrobe consists of items that you can mix and match to make more outfits. And I forget the name of the term that they use. I said, I never heard of that term before. But definitely, like you mentioned, sweater. What is it called? Yes. A capsule wardrobe. Yes. Yes. So it's good. It's really good that is a thing and people are using it, because like you said, like jeans can be bulky, sweaters are definitely bulky. When you can eliminate having a bunch of bulky things, like I love wearing dresses, even like when I'm here in Belgium, I bring a backpack. I mean, I also brought a luggage too, but when I went to Amsterdam, I packed like 2 dresses, like some flowy linen pants, 2 shirts, and that was it. And then my toiletry bag. And that's it. It's something that's lightweight, that can get you through, that I can mix and match between like the skirt and the little pants I had and everything. So definitely look at your options. The last thing you want is to be carrying a heavy bag or luggage and also be overweight, because sometimes I know Air France, when I flew to Togo, they were weighing everything. They weighed my blanket, they weighed my purse, they're weighing everything. I was like, I've never had anyone weigh a blanket. They're like, yes, because of the airline, the amount of weight per person. I'm just like, that's a whole scam, So just keep that in mind as well. But moving forward, so we talked about your tips that you just gave us. And how do you decide what to bring and what to leave behind when you move from place to place?
I don't know. Remember Aaliyah?
And let's see. I'm trying to make sure we get through all these packings. You have so much great information to share. Are there any essential items that you always make sure you have with you? I know you mentioned like hair products is one of the things you have to have. What are some other items?
My blanket. I take my
Me
blanket everywhere. I
too.
mean, it's just
Me
it is just a throw blanket, but it is so nice to have. I use it on the plane because I don't like the blankets that they
Me too.
give you on the plane. I use it when I'm watching TV because I don't know. This is mine.
Yeah.
And I want my blanket with me all the time.
It's kind of like a security thing. Like I feel safe with it. Also, I don't like laying on these bare sheets sometimes because I don't know what they washed it or if they washed it. And I feel like my face breaks out when I sleep, like lay on their pillows and stuff. So I always try to bring something from home. And if I don't have my blanket, I definitely have like a jacket of some sort for shorter trips. But the blanket is definitely, I kind of feel like Barney, like Baby Bob had her blanket, taking it everywhere. Like that's my
Yes,
security and safe zone. Yes, I'm showing my age now, talking about Barney.
yes, yes.
Yes. How do you
And
manage?
I probably travel with way too many electronics. But
Me too. We are the same person. I travel with too much stuff, too much electronics. And I try to narrow it down, but I'm just like, but what if? But I think I'm gonna need that. And I
yep.
gotta bring this. And I rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
I just told somebody that today about my umbrella.
Yes, an umbrella is really needed. Like the way the rain comes out sometimes, and the one thing I like about Japan is that the umbrellas are so freely like used, and you can like grab them anywhere. And then when you're done, you put it in a different location, and that other person can grab it and use it. So I really love that. I haven't found an umbrella that works well with Lisbon. Lisbon weather is like Mary Poppins wind. Like it'll be ready to blow you away with the umbrella. And I just need to find like a heavy duty military grade that can withhold the wind and everything. Because none of these umbrellas work. Oh, Rashana says she is going to be right back. But for those that are watching, if you guys have any questions, definitely drop them. I know Lisa Lewis asked a question that I want to come back to. And Beverly James asked a question. But I believe I can answer Beverly James's question real quick while Rashana is running off to do something real quick. How do you navigate your health and annual physics exams, etc., when we need to have while traveling? I know when my daughter and I were backpacking to Southeast Asia, I did all my exams prior to going. I also was able to have a 90-day supply of medication that I kept with me, and also make sure that your medication is not considered narcotics in the country you're going to. So definitely check that out and make sure you are bringing your medication legal. Also, the access to healthcare and doctors is very much easier to navigate than in the U.S. And Shauna just got back. I'm answering this question Beverly had about how do you navigate your health and annual physics exams that you need to have while traveling. And I was explaining that I get my stuff done before I go. And then if an emergency comes up or something comes up, then the access to healthcare abroad is more easily accessible than how it is in the US.
So my all my healthcare is done in Nashville, Tennessee. So I come home to the US at least 3 months every year, so that I can take care of all that. So like that, I just got finished doing all of that in June.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so take care of what you need to take care of.
And then I also have TRICARE insurance. Yeah, and I have TRICARE insurance plus I have VA. And so I kind
Mm-hmm.
of do a little bit of stockpiling medication so that I can take it with me. But I haven't tried this yet, but I also feel like I have my written prescriptions. So I could probably just go to a pharmacy and
Yeah,
ask for the medication, because I feel like getting prescriptions overseas is a little bit different, and it was a little bit easier than getting them in the
yeah.
US.
Yeah, you could bring a prescription or even like the bottle and get it refilled for the most part. I know in Portugal, they have a lot of medications similar to the US, and also they have a lot of medications that are not FDA approved here in Portugal like they are in the US, but FDA is only in the US, not abroad. So definitely research alternatives. And if you do take medication, like I take medication, see what alternatives are, and also consult with your doctor too. Letting them know you are going to travel, and what are some alternatives in the event that you do need this medicine. Oh, sorry about that. My VPN turned back on, and this time it kicked me off again. But yes, definitely talking to your doctor, looking up, researching, and most importantly, if some drugs that may not be considered narcotic in the U.S. are considered narcotics in other countries. I've definitely had to navigate that many of times, dealing with the Prime Minister of Health in different countries. So definitely double check that, because the last thing you want is to be in a foreign jail. And yeah, it's not good. Yes. How do you manage to keep your luggage light while ensuring you have everything that you need, Mashana?
Which is like a carry-on size roller bag. And I also have my Osprey. It's a 55-liter backpack slash day pack. So the backpack itself is 40 liters and the day pack is 15 liters. So basically, I'm not going to say it. I mean, it's light, but it's not light.
It's Osprey right here.
Yes. Yeah. But the way the backpack is designed is it distributes the weight evenly so you don't feel it as bad. And when you're carrying luggage that small, there's only so much you're putting in it anyway. Yeah, there's only so much you can get in there. So, like, I'm never going to be overweight on either of those bags because you just can't put that much stuff in there. And really, as far as making sure that I have everything that I need, I mean, honestly, there's stores everywhere that you go. So if I don't have
Mhm.
it, I can always buy it when I get there.
Yes, yes, yes. And I love Osprey. Osprey makes some really great bags. The one I just showed is a 40 liter. And the one that's, I believe, 45 liter has the little backpack that you're talking about on there. And what's great about Osprey is that you can go to any hiking store, outdoor store, and you can get fitted for these bags as well, because they come in different sizes. The one I have is it's a Fairview 40, the for women, and the Fair Point is for men. So it's really great that you do have the option to see what works best for you. If you want to bring like your laptop and see like what it could look like. I know like the Porter by Osprey, a lot of people like as well, but we enjoy the Fairview 40. So definitely don't overpack. It's always good to have more room just in case you might find like a dress you might like, or just something that is like one of a kind that if you don't get it now, like you probably will never find it again.
Or just be prepared to leave something behind if you do.
I leave behind the dingy stuff. Something that looks like it's been worn out. I'm like, yeah, I don't think. Oh, it's okay. I'm gonna leave it. It could be. It doesn't have to be packed with me.
Yep.
Yes. Wow. We are almost at the end of time. I'm just gonna go through with some of these comments. Yulinda said the challenges for her is distilled water and two-ply toilet paper. Yes, a lot of countries don't want you to flush toilet paper down the toilet, and you can make distilled water. It's not something that's like super easy as such as boiling. You could boil it and then you turn the pot upside down. You have to add the ice cubes because the condensation has to do what it's supposed to do. And sometimes it's just like, okay, I'd rather go out and know that it's right than me trying to do a science experiment and hope that I got this water distilled the way it's supposed to be.
I don't even bother with distilled water anymore. I just boil my water now. And
Mm,
I talk to my doctors and they're like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. So yeah, that's all I do is because everywhere you go, especially outside of the US, your room is going to have a kitchen kettle. And even if it doesn't have a kitchen kettle, it'll have a coffee pot. So I just boil water. Sometimes I like to boil it 2 or 3 times,
yeah.
but for the most part, yeah, I just boil water now. I don't even bother with distilled water anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you can't go wrong with boiled water. Lisa Lewis asked, "What are your must-have electronics?"
My iPhone, my iPad, and my laptop.
Yes,
And I know
I
it's
agree.
redundant.
No, listen, I travel with 2 phones, my iPad, my MacBook, different charging outlets, too many cords, and, yeah, too many cords. And, I don't buy traveling, the traveling outlets, like you just like flip up one is like all these different plugs in one set like that. I find that sometimes my laptop does not charge and it doesn't offer like a ground protection, like a surge protection on it. So I usually buy just the specific one for the country that has like a grounder in it. Because sometimes it's just like you want to charge everything on one and it doesn't convert the energy the correct way. Because sometimes like I felt like the multi-device was heating up, like overheating. And I was just like, no, I don't want to risk like causing a fire or like it short circuiting my laptop or anything like that.
I never leave home without a surge protector.
Yeah.
So I keep a power strip on me. I always carry a power strip because hotels and sometimes Airbnbs, they never have enough outlets. So I always have a power strip.
Yeah. No, very, 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 very important. And Amazon has them. I try to go to the ones that have like the most reviews. I'm not knocking the smaller brands, but are y'all gonna pay for my laptop if something happens to it? So I always like Anchor is one. There's one such as like an E that I really like a lot, but these are things that some people just don't think about, to bring because they're like, oh, okay, whatever, just outlets. But also we have to remember that when we're plugging in our personal items, they're US outlet, plugs that we're plugging in to a converter that's supposed to convert the power. So we are being able to charge our electronics and everything. But I do have one last question. What because we're already into the hour, and what future plans or destinations that you have planned already are you particularly excited about?
Croatia. I've got Croatia coming up and I've got France coming up. France is one of those where I'm going to rent a car and I'm going to drive around the country and I'm going to the D-Day sites, but I'm also going to all the different wine regions because I'm a wine connoisseur. So I want to go, drink wine in all the different wine regions of France.
Okay.
And I'm going to stay in a chateau, which I'm really excited about as well.
Nice. I went to Croatia for my 36th birthday. So 2 years ago. Almost 2 years ago because I'll be 38 next month. And I went to Hvar, Split, and Zagreb, and I enjoyed it. I thought the food was amazing. It really surprised me. Not to shade of Croatia, but the food really surprised me. And I really enjoyed their lavender. They're known for lavender. So if you are into essential oils, definitely get their lavender. They also have like this lavender tea mixture. So definitely check that out. And I'm sorry,
Yes,
Lisa Lewis
Croatia.
wanted.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. Lisa Lewis asked again, do you ever get lonely traveling by yourself?
Talker. And I'm an extreme extrovert. I'm an extroverted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an introverted extrovert. So basically, I can just run up on anybody and start talking to them. And for whatever reason, people are constantly running up on me and talking to me. But I'm also content to just be myself. Even here, I got on some Facebook groups and I found a meetup. So I did a meetup a couple of days ago. So I can always find someone to hang out with everywhere I go if I really want to.
Yes, that sounds like me. I'm very introverted, but I also can be extroverted. And I think people are surprised when I say I'm introverted because I'm always talking to someone, especially, building and running a whole community. They're just like, what? You're introverted? I was like, yes, I don't want to see people. I want to be inside my bubble, cuddling with my dog, and that's it. But then there's times that I'm just like, yes, I want to be around people. It comes so natural, like just talking to everyone, just sparking a conversation. So I understand. We're like the same people. Are you sure we're not the same? We're not related? Because we are very similar.
We could be. You never know.
Look, we're gonna have to talk offline about your family histories. My mom's a genealogist, so she's really good at all that. But yes, I just wanted to thank you so much for your time, VeShannah. I love what you're doing. Keep inspiring other Black women out there and men that want to solo travel, do nomadic life, definitely house sitting, just going out there and exploring the world. And it doesn't matter what age you are. You could be the early prime age of 18. You could be in your 70s, 80s. I mean, there are probably women out there, men, 90s, still living their best lives and traveling. The world has so much to offer us, and we shouldn't limit ourselves just to the US because of fear. There's plenty of communities out there. There's plenty of people that are curious, that want to take the next flight over. There's countless endless possibilities with Facebook, Reddit, Instagram, meetups, as someone said. So definitely don't be afraid to take that leap at all. Lisa Lewis said meetups are great. This information was great. Thank you both. Sophia said great interview, so inspiring. Thank you both. And just real quick, VeShannah, how can everyone find you?
I am at Bougie Nomad on Instagram. That's BOUJEE Nomad. I used to have it on Facebook, but something happened to Facebook back in January and it unlinked my accounts. So now I'm just on Instagram.
Okay, perfect. And if you didn't catch it, it's in the description of this live video. And I definitely want to thank everyone that joined. Thank you for everyone that asked questions. I'm doing these lives every Sunday. I'm looking forward to having some more men on being interviewed and not just Black women, but definitely look in the live section and you'll be able to catch other ones that I previously interviewed. And also, if you're into podcasts, you'll also be able to hear it on Apple and Spotify podcasts coming up soon. So with that being said, I hope everyone has a beautiful Sunday. Don't forget to jumpstart the week Monday, start planning your trips, and just know that traveling does not have to be expensive. You don't have to be a millionaire to travel. And let's cut out going to Miami and Disney and start spending, all these dollars catching flights overseas. So I will catch you guys later. VeShannah, it was so nice meeting you virtually, and I'm looking forward to us meeting up one day because, go Navy, beat Army, I had to throw that in at the end. I had to throw it in, keep it PG.
Well, thank you. It was great being here.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Bye.